No to both classes, as well as visiting the foreign language lab. Jara has been finishing off some interviews regarding a deaf girl needing better housing accommodations. Now he is getting ready to have lunch with Brent. 2 p.m. Jim and Betsy get back to the hotel in Houston after a breakthrough session with a lawyer assigned to him by a cousin, Ted Caffey, graduate of Tech Law, member of the U.S. Air Force, king of oil mergers and acquisitions in Texas. Meanwhile, JR is interviewing a blind woman having problems with the Texas Commission for the Blind. He calls the office of State Representative Davy West and tells him to also expect a call from her. 3 p.m. At the Center for Public Affairs, there's a lull in the work, so JR and Calvin get together to prepare for the spring semester's first debate tonight against Florida State University. JR's topic was healthcare. Calvin's topic was about the upcoming budget proposals of the Clinton administration. Okay. 4 p.m. JR leaves the Center for Public Affairs and goes to his room in Gordon Hall. He studies his government textbook, looks over some articles in the Point of View BBS by Christopher Ruddy, a recommendation by his father. Kevin McDonald was studying at the library. At the same time, his brother comes home to the ranch after having bought the Clydesdale heifers. He goes into his double-wide trailer and heads towards the nursery to hold his son Andrew. The baby was 2 days ahead of being 2 weeks old. 6 p.m. JR is having a barbecue dinner at the Spirit Club, sitting with Brent Clark and C.B. Coleman. 6:30 p.m. Jim and Claude, Betsy and Becky sit at a bar where they ordered drinks and wait for the Terry Lawrence to be on stage at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Thank you for joining us tonight at the Texas Tech School of Mass Communications. I'm Professor John McComb. Joining me is Professor from Florida State University and Communication Studies, Catherine Dale, who will be monitoring the debate with me. Our first debate tonight will be Calvin Broderson, studying in public affairs at Texas Tech University, against Dale Hearn, junior public relations student at Florida State University. Tonight's topic, the Clinton budget for 1994. Meanwhile, the bar brightens up in Houston as Terry Lawrence hits the stage with her first blockbuster hit that was to be released in October 1994, called You Can't Give What You Don't Have. For some reason, Betsy starts cheering wildly as the song comes out of the speakers. There was Terry Lawrence. There she was, 44, beautiful. Even her husband was at the concert. She had been born February 25th, 1950, in Beverly Hills, Texas. And her family moved to Waco, where she was when she was nearly 3. She dropped out of UT Austin when she married her first husband, but her second husband allowed her to finish a bachelor's degree in Houston at Rice University. 9 p.m. John McCone stood up. Now Catherine Deo will moderate this debate between J.R. Hendrick, Public Affairs from Texas Tech, and Joanne Galloway, Political Communications student at Florida State University. The question is for J.R. Hendrick. Your father has been a long-time opponent of the Clinton healthcare system. Please state your argument. And then Miss Galloway will cross-examine you. 3 a.m. Downstairs in the ranch living room, Betsy is watching country music videos. One of the news videos was a new release by country girl heartthrob Terry Lawrence. You can't give what you don't have. It was obvious. It was this song that she had one long backup singer, a male. Meanwhile, in Kyle's double-wide trailer, baby Andrew is crying again for the 5th time. Kyle rushes over to the nursery to pick up his 2-week-old son. 4:30 a.m. Meanwhile, Kyle is at the he let him down after the governess agreed to hold him. Kyle goes to the kitchen coop instructing 5 of the ranch hands to monitor the heat lamps to prepare the hens to start laying eggs. Also, he let them know that Grandma Elizabeth would be gathering eggs from chickens in the garden. 5 a.m. Yawning, Gerald wakes up in his dorm room. The defeat from last night's debate made him feel very sad and very dejected. Mr. William Stacy, the Crockett House director, had to give JR some counseling and a sleeping pill in order for him to go to sleep and stop crying. He opened up his large print devotional from the 700 Club that Brad had given him yesterday when he was at a low point. For some reason, at the beginning of the semester, Brad was becoming a good friend again. And JR said he didn't mind Brad taking him to the weekly Bible study. 6:30 a.m. At the Spirit Club, JR is having sausage and egg breakfast with Stoney Rosen, who could easily tell that JR was downhearted. It's just a debate, JR. Not in the eyes of my father. A debate is for the taking. First place in. Tell me, JR, are you going to college just to please your father? Stoney said. Or are you really trying to find your place in this world? The latter. See? Come back to the club. I'll see you for lunch. The next debate is in Odessa, Saturday, February 12th, at the Lee College Auditorium for Odessa University College. 7:15 a.m. Even though Betsy had been allowed to stay the night at the ranch, she was back in the hospital room at Alliance Hospital due to congestive heart failure. And her cardiologist, Dr. John Stone, had put her on diuretics off and on since 1989. And now she was back on them along with vasculators. She would have her chemotherapy in the hospital Thursday before being released to go home Friday. 8 a.m. In Dr. Wild's government class in Holden Chapel, Dr. Wild made the following pronouncement. Before we continue talking about presidential personality, I strongly advise you, for your homework, to sit down and watch or listen to President Clinton's State of the Union address. And also watch the Republican response. Objectivity is the name of the game if you're going to be studying in my class. 8:05 a.m. Houston, Texas. Jim and Claude are meeting with the attorney one last time to go through the last minute paperwork over the merger. 11 a.m. Instead of going to the Spirit Club, JR decides to go have lunch with Larry Thurber at Subway. It's just a debate, JR. Right now, you've been taking everything personally because of your father's appointment. But what you really need to realize is that people care about you, Larry said. I have Cheesecake Toastmasters tonight. My speech is called Dare to Lead, Jared said. I can be prepared for the next debate, February 12th. With the Lee University College Auditorium. 1 p.m. Jim is at the hotel suite at the Hyatt Plaza in Houston. Jim and Claude order some strawberry daiquiris. Betsy and Becky have gone out shopping. So Jim and Claude would spend their afternoon celebrating the upcoming merger on February 16th. 3:50 p.m. JR is at the library at the Center for Visually Impaired looking through some articles for his government class. 5 p.m. JR is at the School of Mass Communications with Kevin McDonald and Alan J. Leshner. Leshner was born in Dallas, Texas. Oh, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? He went to Reese Prep School around the same time that JR did. Leshner was studying journalism at Texas Tech. He had also spent the summer of 1991 in taking a speech course at Patrick Henry College.